Hey gaming crew! Welcome to my top 3 games of November 2018. If you'd like to listen to the previous month's podcast, you'll find the link in the description below. Please note, this is my top 3 list out of all the games I played throughout the month. It does not include games that I played before 2018, nor after. The criteria I used is arbitrarily ranked with an arbitrary rating system and solely reflects my preferences. If you have a list of games that you enjoyed, that's great! Let me know in the comments below. If you think I'm wrong about a game I like and that I should have liked something else, please move along. This is my list and not yours. Also, please note I may mispronounce names of designers or publishers. Please forgive me in advance. And with that, let's get going with November 2018. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed the predecessor of this game. It was fast, easy to learn, but had a lot of strategy. This game uses different mechanics to do the same thing. Instead of using cards to generate and push cubes, you instead sail around a map to generate and push cubes. I think you can guess what this game is. Century Eastern Wonders. Century Eastern Wonders is a game by Emerson Matsushi and published by Plan B Games. It can host from 2 to 4 players aged 8 or older and last 30 to 45 minutes. The time frame on this game is probably based on those who have played it a lot. I can tell you that it takes a bit of time, especially with new players or with those with analysis paralysis. In Century Eastern Wonders, you're essentially playing a pick up and deliver game. Though the mechanics for picking up or generating converting spices is very similar to Century Spice Road, you don't use cards in the standard game. All of the generation and conversion is on map tiles. The rules are pretty straightforward overall. The player may or may not move their ship and then perform one of 3 actions: market, port, or harvest. If market is chosen, the player builds an outpost on the tile if there isn't one in their color. The outpost is pulled from a row matching the tile's resource on the player board. Once placed, or if there's already one there, the player may now perform the action on the tile. If the player chooses the port action, they must be on a port tile, and then turn in the required resources to obtain the tile. These are how the players achieve victory points. The last action, Harvest, allows a player to take 2 yellow cubes from the supply and add them to their cargo hold. There are other events as well. When a player has placed all the outposts in a column, they receive an upgrade. There are 5 of them that help the player with special abilities, victory points, or both. The player can upgrade their cargo hold with 3 more spaces, upgrade 1 cube 1 level immediately after building an outpost. It's also worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. Increase movement by an additional tile for free. Gain 1 additional red cube when harvesting, and is worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. Or gain victory points. The victory point tiles start at 6 and then go down in value for each tile below it. Movement is normally 1 space for free. Then you can move further by leaving a cube in a space you're leaving. This gives others an opportunity to pick up extra cubes or to clear up your cargo hold for other resources. Once a player claims their 4th victory point tile, the game ends after the current round of play. Players then count their total victory points, and the one with the most wins. In a tie, the last concerned player to take a turn wins the tie. Quite an unusual tiebreaker. I haven't seen that before. I really enjoy this game on its own, though you can pair it up with Century Spice Road for Century from Sand to Sea, which is apparently even more fun, dynamic, and replayable. I haven't had the chance to play this version of the game, but I am looking forward to doing so in the future. Oh, did I mention that the components in this game are also stellar? Plastic bowls for the cubes, wooden ships, no metal coins however, but the rest of the components are very high quality. I really suggest anyone who enjoys pick up and deliver games to give this a try. If you've never played this type of game before, give it a try. And if you don't own it but enjoy playing it, what are you waiting for? Add it to your collection. This is one of my essential games, which I will be creating a list for in the future. My number 2 this month is a wonderful area control and action selection game with variable player powers. It's set in an alternative 1920s era where steampunk and mechs are the norm. Players take on the role of one of several countries and try to create an engine that catapults them to the win. This is not only a fun game, but a very pretty one at that. It's Scythe. Scythe is a game designed by Jamie Stegmaier and published by Stonemaier Games. It hosts from 1 to 5 players aged 14 or older and lasts from 90 to 115 minutes. I don't know where 115 minutes came from, but games of 2 to 2.5 hours aren't unheard of for my group. It can take a bit longer if you have a new player or someone with analysis paralysis. Let's start off with the components, of which there are many. There are nice cards in a couple of different sizes, lots of wooden cubes, meeples, and other bits, and miniatures, high-quality plastic miniatures for your mecha and your leaders. Very nicely sized for painting, if I ever get around to it. I went the extra mile and got as much of the expansion, promo, and upgrade stuff that I could find. So much so that I had to invest in the big box. I need to have all of one game in one box, if at all possible, since I don't like having games split up. But sometimes you have to do that. In this game, you're trying to meet different objectives. Stars, such as complete all 6 upgrades, build all 4 structures, win a combat, or have 16 power. When a player places their 6th star, the game ends. The total fortune of the player is then calculated starting with the number of coins you earn, every star token placed, every territory controlled, and for every 2 resources. There's a popularity track that increases what each of the last 3 categories are worth. The game starts out with each player on a specific starting space as indicated by their faction symbol. Everyone then gets to take 1 action on their turn. Top row actions: bolster, produce, move, trade, and bottom row actions: upgrade, deploy, build, or enlist. The actions are paired off with 1 top row action and 1 bottom row action. The action boards are different for each player. When taking an action, you can perform the top action, the bottom action, or both, or no action. Regardless of what you choose, you must always move your action token to a new action. Top actions: bolster increases your power or combat cards and possibly grants you popularity. Produce allows you to generate resources on spaces you control with workers, up to 3, and a mill. Move allows you to move or generate coins and possibly gives you the ability to build a mine that acts as a tunnel. Trade allows you to pay a coin to gain 2 resources or up to 2 popularity, and if you have the armory built, you gain power as well. Bottom actions: upgrade allows you to move a blocking cube from a top action and place it in a bottom action to reduce the cost of the action. If you've enlisted from here, you can gain power whenever anyone else upgrades. Deploy lets you build a mech and add it to the board. If you have enlisted from here, you gain a coin whenever anyone else deploys. The build action is what you use when you want to place your monument, mine, mill, or armory on the board. If you've enlisted from here, you gain popularity whenever anyone else builds. Finally, the enlist action allows you to enlist, enabling the other enlist powers above. If you've enlisted from here, you gain a combat card. The bottom actions may or may not provide a coin bonus, but they generally do. When performing an enlist action, you move the enlist cylinder from the bottom action of your choice to your player board. You may choose which bonus you would like: +2 power, +2 victory points, +2 popularity, or +2 cards. These bonuses happen immediately. When you deploy a mech, you uncover 1 of 4 powers, such as general abilities, river walk, or speed, or you can also uncover 1 of 2 unique abilities for your faction. These really help move the game along, especially during the end game. The combat system is straightforward. Combatants choose how much power they want to use, then add 1 card to that for each unit in the combat, mechs and leaders. The one who has the higher score wins and forces the losing player to retreat back to their home base, losing control over the space and any resources that were housed there. There are also encounters which are randomly pulled from a deck of cards. Leaders have to land in an area with an encounter token, and when that happens, they have a choice of 1 from 3 different outcomes. Each encounter provides some sort of cost and a potential benefit, combat, or free action. They add a lot of variability to the game. Then there's the factory. Getting to the factory in the middle of the board is a good thing to do. You get to choose one of the factory cards for the game out of all of them. These usually provide an additional action separate from the player board. In addition, factory cards allow one of your units to move twice during movement. These are permanent cards, and you can only have one, so choose wisely. Finally, there are objectives which allow you to place a star on the objective space of the achievements track. At the end of the game, players can fill in their name on one category of the achievement sheet, which makes this sort of a legacy game. Not a true one where the game changes, but it does provide a way to record who did the best at what during a given play. This game is fantastic. Beautiful components, a small world style map that makes it feel like you're tripping over one another, a lot of actions to perform, different strategies for different objectives and factions. There's a lot of play in this game, and that's just the base game. There are a few expansions that add new factions, new pieces to work with, more encounters, and a common enemy. This is not a game to pass up if you enjoy strategy games. Play it if you have the chance. And finally, the number one game of November 2018 is a game that I played the previous month. It's the second time I've played the game, and all of the wonderful exploration, area control, variable player powers, different races, hiring, exploitation, and other aspects of the game keep me coming back for more. It was number 2 in October, and Empires of the Void 2 moved to the number 1 slot this time. Everything I said about the game so far is still true, and I see this one coming to the table more and more often. With any luck, I'll see it hit the table multiple times during 2019. And there you have it, the top 3 games I played in November 2018. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast and that I may have inspired you to play some games or to try one of the 3 I've mentioned here. Look for the next top 3 very soon. Until then, game on, and as always, this is Excalibur, and I am out.